Hello everybody, welcome to a screencast for Recent Skills 1. In this screencast I will show you how the basic interface for SPSS works. SPSS is the tool that you use to do statistical analyses and to make visualizations. It's a very useful tool because it is much faster and easier to work with than, for instance, Excel. It will take some getting used to, so you have to really put some effort into it in order to get to the benefits of the program. Well, first of all, let's focus on how you boot the program. You can find SPSS under Start and then All Programs. And then you notice that here's a folder called IBM SPSS Statistics. You click that, and then here you click this thingy, and then the program starts up. This will take a while, so already pre-booted it, and then you will get some dialog boxes that you can all click away or click OK. Then you will get an empty screen. What you can then do is open a dataset where you have saved one, and then once you've done that, you'll notice you see data in front of you. SPSS consists of basically three views that are important. We have the data view, we have the variable view, and we have the output view. Right now, you're looking at the data view. The data view, simply said, contains the data. Each individual that you have collected data on is a row in the data view. So this is individual 1. That is individual 2. This is individual number 20. This is individual number 50, and so on. Each column represents a variable, something that you've measured for each of your participants, your respondents. So in this case, I asked people about their opinion on Thor in the Avengers. What did you think of the character? The same for Captain America, the Hulk, Nick Fury. I also measured their gender and their education. So remember, columns are variables, things that you've measured. Rows are people. So that's what's in the data view. And obviously each particular number is an answer given by a particular person. So all these numbers represent numbers on a scale from 1 to 10. So person number 13 thought that Thor was really, really good. So he gave him a 10. Person number 14 thought that Thor really sucked, so he gave him a 1. Moving on to the variable view. The variable view says something about the variables that you have. You see the same ones we saw earlier. These are their names. And there's some information about these variables, what kind of variables they are, what measurement level they have. A few of these details are major, they're important, and most of them are minor. The most important ones are obviously the name, so you can see which variable you're talking about. The second one is the type. These should always be set to numeric. That just basically means it's a number. If this is set to string, you have a problem, because then the program thinks it's text. And as you well know, you can't calculate anything with text. You can calculate stuff with numbers. Next up is values, very important. These are basically important because you can see later on when you run analyses what each number means. So if you have numbers on a scale from 1 to 10, it's pretty obvious. You know that 10 is higher than 1. But if you have stuff like gender with numbers like 1 and 2, it may not be immediately obvious that 1 is, for instance, male and 2 is female. How do you change these values? Well, I'm glad you asked. Once you select something, you see these 3 dots next to it. If you click those, then you can change stuff. Like, this should be female, and this should be male. Then the last thing is the measurement levels. This will be explained in lecture number 2, what all these measurement levels are, but for now it's important to know that these measurement levels tell you what you can do with a particular variable, which particular analysis you may perform, and which you shouldn't. So that was the data view and the variable view. There's one view still left, the output view. Obviously, this is just a data set and a description of a data set, so I need to analyze something. And we can issue commands to Excel by going to the window Analyze and, for instance, order some descriptive statistics, what Research Skills 1 is all about. For instance, we could order up a frequency table for education, just to see which degree of education my respondents, my participants of my questionnaire had. If you issue a command, you will automatically get the output window. This is the output window. Here is the frequency table that we ordered. Here you can see that there were 80 participants in total. 17 of them went to high school. 43 are currently pursuing their bachelor's, and 20 are pursuing a master's degree. These are the absolute numbers. Here you can see the relative numbers, or the percentages. So obviously 80 is 100%, 20 is 25% of the total. And you can look at these percentages and then interpret them and compare them to maybe other data sets to see whether this distribution makes any sense. So those are the three views. This is the variable view. If you press this button, you will go back to your data view. Here is the variable view where you get information about your variables, and here's the data view with the actual data.